Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty fascinating, actually. It's about the professional world and well, sometimes desperate moves people think about when they need a reference.
Yeah, desperate, maybe even hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. We've got excerpts from this thing that claims to be a guide called How to Fake a Reference Letter from Your Dog and other professional desperation moves.
Just the title alone tells you something, doesn't it?
It really does. It makes you question the whole reliance on, traditional reference letters. Who actually likes asking old colleagues for a glowing review? It's so awkward.
Right, crossing your fingers they even remember you, let alone liked working with you.
So yeah, this deep dive is really about unpacking the most surprising, maybe even insightful strategies this guide suggests for getting around that whole awkward process.
Absolutely. And the fact that a guide like this even exists, I mean, it points to some real pressure people are feeling out there.
Definitely.
We're going to explore these unconventional ideas, not because we're saying do this,
Our
obviously,
attendants know.
but more as a way to understand the creative. And sometimes, yeah, eyebrow-raising things people think up when the normal way feels too hard.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The guide kicks off with what it calls the canine character witness method.
Right. The dog reference.
Yeah, and it's not just, my dog's great. There's a whole strategy. Step one is picking the right pet reference. A dog apparently is good for loyalty, enthusiasm.
And fetching deadlines,
Yeah,
which is quite a spin on project management.
isn't it? But what's interesting is that desire to link yourself to just, good traits, loyalty, enthusiasm, stuff employers want.
Exactly. It's like a shortcut, using the dog.
Yeah.
And they even break it down further, right? Like cats are for independence.
Yeah, Cats for Independence, working well with less supervision. It's about tailoring the fake reference, kinda.
Even if the reference can't actually talk. Or, well, shouldn't be talking in a professional context.
And get this a houseplant. If
Yeah.
you want to show you thrive under pressure, provided it's been watered, obviously.
A houseplant reference. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
new one.
Yeah.
It really shows the urge to find anything positive, doesn't it?
It really does. Then you get to actually writing the letter, the suggested opening. To whom it may concern, Fido is the most hardworking being I've ever met. Something like that. Very earnest.
That earnestness feels key,
Yeah.
Playing on how we feel about our pets. And did you see the pro tip about Zoom background noise?
Oh, yeah. The barking dog means excellent remote collaboration.
It's certainly memorable, but it does tap into that pressure to show soft skills, even twisting a common annoyance into a positive.
Totally. And the signature. Warm regards, your name, proud owner and colleague, and the advanced move. A paw print instead of getting it notarized.
The paw print, you almost have to admire the sheer nerve, really.
We actually had a listener mention someone they knew considered using their parrot.
I parrot. What was the skill? Repeating confidential information.
Huh. No, it was unmatched attention to detail because it noticed every crumb on the floor.
Wow. Okay. Again, it's that reframing, isn't it? Taking any observed behavior and trying to spin it into something professional. It shows the lengths people might consider.
Okay, so moving beyond pets.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fake it till you make it template strategies. This is where it gets into creating like totally fictional work histories.
Right. Leaving the animal kingdom behind.
First up, the defunct startup dodge. So the idea is you claim you were, say, VP of innovation at your basement LLC.
Ah, yes. So the classic unverifiable company. And the beauty is it's defunct. Hard to check up on.
And the guide gives you the reason why it folded. Market shifts, which actually means your mom made you clean the garage.
It's brilliant, in a way. It anticipates the question and shuts it down with something plausible but absurd. It really speaks to that anxiety about background checks.
Then there's the freelance ghost client. You were consulting for these high-profile anonymous clients.
Which translates to your friend's Etsy shop.
Exactly. It's vague enough that it's hard to disprove, but sounds kind of impressive, right?
The anonymity is the whole point there, isn't it? Claiming experience without needing any proof. It makes you think how much credibility is just based on trust or unverifiable claims.
And the last one in this batch, the academic Hail Mary,
Oh, I remember this one.
claiming you were a guest lecturer at, wait for it, YouTube University.
Because you, left a comment on a video once?
Pretty much the boldness is just,
Wow.
wow. It's almost a commentary on how we see expertise now with information everywhere.
Exactly. It plays on that perception of authority. YouTube feels like a platform, so saying you lectured there gives this superficial impression of academic clout. What even is expertise anymore?
But it doesn't stop there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. For the truly committed, the guide suggests using a burner phone for the reference call
Right, so you control the call.
and poorly disguising your voice. That detail, the poorly disguised voice, is really something.
Why poorly, though? Maybe it's meant to sound more real, like slightly flawed, more human.
Could be. Or maybe it's just, incredibly bad advice.
Either way, it shows the level of detailed planning someone might consider just to get around a standard reference check.
Okay, but what if, despite all this
Yeah.
creativity, someone actually tries to fact check? What happens then?
Ah, the emergency excuses section.
Yeah.
Always have a backup plan.
First defense, they're traveling in Bhutan excuse.
Classic. Remote location, no cell service.
Very spiritual journey, can't be disturbed.
It buys you time or
Mm.
maybe avoids the check altogether. Makes the checker feel kind of rude for pushing it.
Then there's the more dramatic option, the hostile takeover lie.
Right. Company got bought out. All the records were
That's
lost.
just by accident, of course.
Of course. It's just a convenient black hole for your employment history. Very bold. It suggests maybe not much confidence in the actual history.
And for the truly, truly audacious, the I'm the reference power move.
This one is something else.
You answer the reference call yourself, but
In a bad British accent, pretending to be Reginald from HR. Hello, Reginald here. Yes, they were smashing. Right. The accent adds that layer of what perceived authority. Distance.
it's high risk, high reward, I guess. It really highlights the potential desperation involved.
Absolutely.
We also had that listener share the hack about creating a LinkedIn profile for their dog.
Oh, yeah. And having the dog endorse them for, what was it?
Strategic squirrel management.
The strategic squirrel management. Perfect. It just shows how platforms like LinkedIn, meant for professional networking, can be twisted for this stuff. It's all kind of performative anyway.
Which actually leads perfectly into the listener challenge part of the guide, reference letter Mad Libs.
Oh, the Mad Libs. These were great.
They give you these fill-in-the-blank sentences to make funny, fake reference snippets, like name is a game, and your choices are visionary or minimal napper.
Or whoo, and it elevates every project or steals office snacks strategically. It's such a good way to poke fun at that generic, over-the-top language you always see in real reference letters. Makes you question what those words even mean.
Here's another. I've never worked with someone so much, so we hell. Choices. Detail-oriented or capable of ignoring 37 unread emails.
Relatable, sadly.
If you hire them immediately, don't, I will. You're making a mistake, probably a robot.
And the sample output they gave for Mr. Snuffles the dog, Mr. Snuffles is a dynamic self-starter because he chews through leashes.
Right. I've never worked with someone so adaptable. He sleeps in a different spot daily.
If you don't hire him, you're allergic to joy. It just perfectly captures how absurd it is to map pet behaviors onto job skills.
So wrapping this up, we've gone through quite a spectrum here, from canine character witnesses to full-on fictional histories and bad accents. It's surprisingly creative, if ethically flexible.
Definitely creative. And what's really interesting isn't just the how-to, but the why. The fact that this kind of guide exists, that people even think about these methods, it says a lot about the pressures in the job market, doesn't it? The anxieties around getting ahead.
It really does. It leaves you wondering about the whole hiring process and how much weight we put on these traditional references.
Exactly. If people are pushed to consider faking it so elaborately, what does that tell us about the system itself?
Maybe the system isn't valuing the right things, or it's just too hard to navigate authentically. It's definitely something to chew on long after this deep dive.